What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Today I want to talk about some things that don't get discussed that much. We know we're at the beginning of a format, and anytime you have, basically a reset on the format, you go to your new ban list. The main things that are going to be talked about is the after effects of the ban list itself, and then of course the top decks, and that's what is taking up most of the discussions right now as far as Yu-Gi-Oh stuff goes. So these are all things that I think are kind of flying under the radar, and I'm sure that these have been discussed by some people, but I really haven't seen any YouTubers talk about them extensively, you know what I mean? So I guess I can call this video things that Konami wants you to forget about. The first thing that Konami wants you to forget about is synchro monsters. They're not making money off of these guys anymore, and it's quite obvious by the ban list, by them banning the best synchro, by them banning the best tuners. They do not want you playing these cards anymore. They want you to forget they ever existed. MCO40 said that Stardust Dragon is a myth, and at this point I completely agree with him. Stardust Dragon, for all intents and purposes, will almost certainly only hit the field this format if you're going to, use it off of like a Starlight Road or something like that. I can't really see people making, Stardust Dragon and playing that whole protection game with decks like Insectors that can blow up multiple cards, 3-4 cards in one turn. Stardust Dragon just isn't that good. And you know what? Actually, when I look at decks like Rabbit and Wind Up and even Insectors, where in my build I never ever synchroed, synchros are just becoming a complete thing of the past, you know what I mean? In fact, a lot of decks are only running like one level 8, and it's not even Stardust anymore. So I think that Konami definitely wants you to forget about these guys. They're not making any, from what I heard, they're not making any more tuners, so I don't know if that's like completely moving forward or what, but I heard that for in Galactic Overlord there's no tuner, so that would definitely be a sign. The second thing, and this is something that actually pisses me off to no end, the second thing that Konami wants you to forget is that Blackluster Soldier Envoy to the Beginning is broke as fuck, and it's the most broken card in the game. It really irks me when people say, oh, things like Rabbit need to be limited, and Lagia and Doka and Tour Guide and all this stuff, and it's like, have we forgotten in Yu-Gi-Oh that we have a 3000 beater who can attack twice? Have we forgotten that? Have we forgotten that this dude is so easy to drop, and automatically if he hits the field uncountered that he's an automatic +1? Like, BLS is an absurd card. It's still mind-blowing that this guy is around, and it's like, you ever heard that old saying that the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist? Konami has essentially done that with BLS. They've lulled you into believing that BLS doesn't even exist anymore because Rabbit and because Wind Up don't run the card. Well, not the good versions anyway. But the fact is, you can still easily lose to this card. The fact that he can be a 1-card OTK, the fact that you top deck him and he probably kills something on the field and then he just sits there being a 3000 beater who just clears fields and wins games. I think that this guy definitely needs to get an axe, and if he was a synchro somehow, he would have got banned just because they hate synchros, clearly. And the third thing, and I don't think anybody has talked about this, the third thing that Konami wants you to forget is the fact that the TCG still has priority and that the OCG doesn't, which means even the fact that we have different cards makes our games completely different. A lot of people say this is the biggest reason that Rabbit is such a ridiculously good deck right here, or in the States and in Europe, is because we still have priority. If you remove priority from Yu-Gi-Oh, it would be a colossal change. Things like Rescue Rabbit and Broke Luster Soldier and Wind Up Hunter would all be a lot less powerful without priority. It's the fact that you can't respond with your, your bottomless trap hole, or you have to warning those cards. You can't hit them with, your Book of Moons and stuff like that before they're able to get their effects off. And in the OCG, that's not true at all. I'd even go as far as to say that something like Rescue Cat could probably be unbanned, limited to 1 without priority. It's something that it's such a huge effect on the game. Now, don't get it twisted now. A lot of people say, oh, well, that will balance us. You will still have cards like Tour Guide that still open up really good plays, but, combos like the priority to use Levier to get my rabbit back or to get my dragonfly that I removed from Allure of Darkness, stuff like that wouldn't happen anymore. Cards like Book of Moon would be phenomenal. Evac would be ridiculously good. And I think that you'd see hand traps would probably be used a lot less in favor of back row. We'd probably have a more conventional format because cards like Evac, Bottomless Trap Hole would start seeing play again, because when you summon that Wind Up Hunter, you couldn't go priority to, you know, remove something before your opponent can Book of Moon it or something like that. So I just want to get everybody's opinion on this, you know, especially like BLS and the priority thing. What do you guys think about this? And do you think Konami has been, you know, assholes for not fixing these issues? Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you take 2 seconds to click some shits, because that would make me very happy. Also, let me know if you guys like these internet memes that I've been making, if you think they're funny or if you don't think they're funny, because I want to get some input. Thanks.